One faded. We're live and we're faded into screen, not faded, but we're here on
Damn it, I'm
Monday,
Gucci.
a victory
Um,
Monday,
welcome to Victory Monday.
a
Welcome
victory
to this
Monday.
Victory Monday. I am Bobby Caboose, as always. Sitting here in the Legends Clubhouse is Lawson Turner. What's going on, man?
Bro, that was a very, very interesting week of football and sports in general, but both of our teams won, so that's a
Yeah,
plus. It's always
it is.
it's always good when we can come in here and we don't have to bicker or pick apart our teams.
Well, your team sucks, so I can't wait for that showdown. Because you guys should have lost against Lamar and the Fighting Ravens, but you didn't.
But we can get
Anyway,
into it. So
what did
so so
what did you do over the weekend?
I was about to
How
ask
was your
you the
weekend?
exact same thing, but I'll dive in. Um, so on Saturday night there was UFC 320, I think four, might have been 324. It's been so interesting to see because I watch the UFC fights with one of my buddies, and the entire main event, it there was a draw that should have ended in a knockout, and the person that we ended up betting on, because we're degenerates, he should have lost 1,000,000%, but it was a draw that saved our slip. And then we won via decision. I think it was another decision, and then the champion, Pantoja, who was reaching legendary status, like in his reign as champion. He snapped his arm within the first like 40 seconds. And we're like, oh, well that blows. And then Marab,
That does blow.
the champ Marab, who was defending his belt for a record, I think fourth time the calendar year, which is already insane to
Yeah.
to fight four times. He got just beat up by Piotr Jan in what will probably be the performance of the year. Jan was almost as flawless as somebody looked, and that was on top of the college games that were going on. Your SEC Big Ten championships and all that. And then on Sunday was just a normal every week we're fucking sweating my Steelers week. And but yeah, other than that, it was nice and
Yeah.
chill. So what'd you do over the weekend?
Well, unlike whoever you just said that fights four times a year, I fight every single day of the year. So 365 days of fighting for the Mr. Caboose.
Mm-hmm.
Saturday, went over to my boy co-host, the 64-bit Legends, Melvin Troy. Went over to his house. We figured out some of the storylines and active roster for the upcoming 2026 64-bit Legends Rumble.
Mm.
We will be starting to narrow down the field and get our competitors for that big event. Watch out for that. It will be probably, I think we figured out it's probably going to be February 7th. That will be the 2026 64-bit Legends Rumble, the sixth annual. Um, 30 sweaty men in one ring,
Not at the same
fighting
time.
for the chance, fighting our champion who currently is Astro Dynamo, aka Gary Galaxy. He will be defending his title that night in a triple threat match against Fuzzy the Cuddle Slut and Deuce Leadfoot. So it's going to be an
Nice.
epic three-way dance, and the winner will face the Rumble, or the Rumble winner for the title. Um, yesterday, yesterday was a busy day for me. I got my stuff out of my storage unit, so we had to take 4 or 5 trips with my buddy's truck to get my furniture out.
Mm.
And then I had a small dinner party with the girlfriend's boss and some coworkers, which was real nice. Um, but dude, so I got a quick question for you, man.
Mm-hmm. Let's hear it.
Have you ever been in a situation where you're being served something food wise,
Okay.
um, and you're kind of forced to act like you like it.
You're forced to indulge. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I've been in a situation like that. A time or two. Why? What were you served that you didn't like and just sucked up and ate it anyways?
Okay, so like by now, if you go to New Leaf News and checked out my my Thanksgiving article about how to feed a picky eater, it was basically about me. Like I
Mm.
am the pickiest of the picky. Well, I'm not that bad anymore. I do, expand my horizons a little bit,
Mm.
but I can eat the same shit like every day, and not literal shit. I don't eat shit pieces of shit for breakfast like Shooter McGavin, but I digress. So we're sitting there and we're about to eat dinner, and the host is like, "Oh, the lasagna is ready." And I'm like, "Oh, sweet, we're having lasagna. I love lasagna. We're good. They
Mm.
had some green beans, which I can fuck with green beans. They had salad. I can fuck with salad. And they also had homemade sourdough bread. And I'm like, all right, the bread was good. Green beans, I can have a limited amount. Like I don't, it's not the best tasting thing to me, but I know they're good for me. Same with like broccoli, and then I have the salad. But this lasagna, it wasn't your normal lasagna. I'm like, okay, like the lasagna was, it wasn't an Italian like red sauce, you know, meat lasagna. So I get this lasagna and it looks amazing. I thought it was a white sauce, so I thought it was like Alfredo. And I'm like, "Oh, this is interesting. I don't think I've ever had a Alfredo lasagna."
Right.
It wasn't Alfredo. It was seafood. There was shrimp in there. There
Mm.
was like scallions or something, or scallops or something. I don't know. Just a bunch of seafood in there.
Right.
And then after the first bite that I tasted, I I was like, huh. I took a bite of it and I was like, what do I taste? Why does this taste different? And so trying to put my finger on it, and I keep eating. The people were great. Don't get me wrong. Like I had an amazing time. I just didn't care for this dish.
Mm.
And after the first bite, like I said, I'm trying to think. Like I'm thinking, what could this fucking ingredient be? Well, the one of the host was like, "Oh, do you know? Can anyone tell the special ingredient in the lasagna?" And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I think I know it, but I don't want to I don't want to sound stupid. Um, so some people I guess like, oh, is it a spice? Is it this? Is it that?
Right.
And I don't say anything, and I know what it is, but I don't say anything because like I said, I don't want to sound stupid. Well, the host goes, no, I added beer to it, and it's Miller High Life, and I'm like, okay, it's the champagne of beers. Um, and I was like, I know exactly, like I could taste it the entire time.
Mm.
So, I eat as much as I possibly can, because next to, I'm not a seafood guy, man, at all.
Is it
And next
is
to
it is it the
sushi,
taste? Is it the smell? Just not a fan. Just not digging it.
all of it. The whole combination, dude, whole
Mm.
combination. So next to sushi, this might have been, up there as far as like my taste buds not agreeing. Um, so, I eat as much as I can. I say that I'm full, but I'm really not.
Right.
They pass around the bread, and it's homemade bread. And I really, really wanted another piece of bread because I was still hungry. But I had to like play the game that, I was full because I still had stuff on my plate, and everyone else's plate was basically cleared off except for my girlfriend's because the host, like, I mean, she gave us like a fat fucking piece.
Right.
And, we appreciate it, but it just wasn't my thing. So I eat as much as I can. And we get in we wrap up dinner, we have a little bit of dessert. We kind of wrap up the evening and we get in the car. And I was like, hey, I have to tell you something. And she goes, yeah. And I go, I didn't really care for the lasagna. And I go, I ate that for you. And, I was like, the sacrifices you make to be in a relationship and to not make your partner look bad in front of her
That's
coworkers.
funny. I did that for
Um,
you.
but yeah, I did it for you. But like I said, like if they ever see this, I hope, I enjoyed myself. I just didn't care for, the dish. And there was somebody there that was a vegetarian, so that was kind of catered to
Mm,
them.
mm-hmm,
Um, but it was a unique choice. And like I said, great people, just not digging the dish.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Which is
but
fair.
the rest of them were good. Yeah, right. Like I
Yeah.
said, I'm not trying to shit on anyone, but yeah, it was just, the lengths that you go to make your significant other look good,
Mm-hmm.
in front of colleagues.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we had a good time. I was able to watch most, or check in with the big NFC North matchup last night and or yesterday. You won't hear me say this a lot, but I'm thankful that the Packers won, because now, the Bears just need to come back down to earth, and then hopefully the Lions, the last game of the season, play the Bears for that last playoff wild card spot. Give the division to the Packers. I don't care at this point because the Lions will not win the division, but they still have a chance for the playoffs. But anyway,
Yeah.
you're on the other side of the North. On the other side, your team has taken full control of the North.
Uh-huh.
But you better watch out for the Browns. Browns are coming.
Yeah. Watch out for the Browns and watch out for the Bengals. I hear you. I hear you. But it was really interesting because once again on Friday's show, it was everybody buckle up your fucking shin straps. I don't want to see Derrick Henry run through our face like he did the last two games that we played them last season. And we contained, and for as much as a beast and an all-time great player Lamar Jackson is from a talent, and historical perspective, for whatever reason against the Steelers, we just have his number, and once again, I'm not complaining because I love it, but there's something wrong, and I don't know if it is his reluctance to acknowledge it for the simple fact of I don't want to let any of these opposing defenses know, oh, there's something wrong with my legs, it might be a knee, an ankle, or
Mm,
whatever. But it's clear to me that over the past 3 weeks, something is wrong, and with you know that last drive at the end of the game when they got the ball back with like 40 seconds left and no timeouts, um, that drive it was almost no urgency to get out of bounds, no urgency to get on the ball on the line. And I don't know if you saw this on Twitter, and I didn't even notice it, when I was watching the game. That last punt that we had at the end of the game, DK Metcalf was on special teams in the gunner spot, and I'm like,
yeah, you sent me that, and I was like, okay,
my
well, I know the
wider
Steelers do things right.
my wide receiver one on special teams, that's what I'm fucking talking about. I want listen, it doesn't matter what more can you do, and the fact that you don't often see a wide receiver one on special teams, let alone fucking on the punt coverage team, you know.
It sounds like you want the same 11 guys on the field for offense, defense, and special teams. Just give me
Hey,
11 guy roster. Give me a 12 guy roster just in case someone gets hurt.
for real, dude. Like the more you can do, and it's just the level of buy-in that because once again when I was watching it, I was like, I didn't notice, and then once again after the game, it was like the last Steelers punt there. You don't normally see wide receiver one on the punt field team, and I'm like, that's insane. And for the game that he had, because I think the Steelers first play, I think the first offensive play, uh, uh, Aaron Henry for like a 52-yard pass, and it was by far DK's best performance of the season from a yards per perspective. He caught a 7 for 148 and no touchdowns, but I was extremely I was from the DK on the punt coverage team to, and I'm sure you didn't watch the game, but there was a pass late in the fourth quarter where it got batted up, and Aaron on 1.5 wrists jumped up for the ball to make sure it wasn't intercepted, and came.
Don't give me that. Don't
What?
give me. I'm on 1.5 wrists like he's fucking walking like a Neanderthal. Get the fuck out of here,
He's
dude.
he's got a
Even if his wrist was like this, you could still bat the ball away.
no, but he didn't bat it. He went up and grabbed it and tried to catch
Whatever,
and caught
dude.
it, and it was just like, damn, Big Aaron. And I don't know if you saw, he also scored a rushing touchdown and did the discount double check. And
Yeah, I did see that.
I was like, yes. I saw him do like his oh, dude. I saw someone, once again, we don't, really dive deep into betting, but I saw someone put like $5 on Aaron Rodgers for the first touchdown score. I was like, get the fuck out of here, them fake ass slips. No one's placing that. It was like 5-2 and 505. And I'm like, yeah, buddy. Yeah, you're the only one in the world with that slip. You got it, dog.
I mean, I would have put 1,000 on it.
Fuck, we'd be zillionaires. But I,
Ugh.
I don't know. The thing with these games, and we do have a very favorable next week game. We're hosting Miami on Monday Night Football, which, Tua in cold weather. I like our chances to kind of not distance
Didn't Tua
ourselves,
win
because
in cold weather yesterday?
he did. He did.
See, he's gonna win in cold weather 2 weeks in a row
I hope
and
not.
prove that concussions ain't a thing.
And
He,
Baltimore has their hands full because they're in Cincinnati, which Cincinnati looks straight these past 2 weeks. Now it's with Joe Burrow coming back, and I don't know if you caught any of that game either, but I guess we can
no, hey
spiral
man, there
over.
was no Buffalo, and I saw that the Bengals had the Bills on the ropes the
Oh,
entire time. There
yep,
is something wrong with these teams at the top of the NFL, or supposed to be at the top of the NFL, dude.
yeah,
Like these teams are cutting it way too close, unless the parity is 100% there this year. It seems like and I'm not going. I don't know the entire NFL standings and shit like that, but it just seems like the gap from the top teams to the middle, even the middle of the road to even the bottom tier teams is smaller this year than in years past.
mhm.
The Chiefs essentially got eliminated from the playoffs yesterday. I think they'd probably have to win out to make it. Um, Texans defense looking strong again.
So
Um,
mean.
that AFC South is going to be is an interesting, and I have the last interesting 4 weeks of the season, because your boy Danny Dimes goes down with a leg injury,
Mm,
but he was kind of coming. Him and the Colts were coming down to earth anyway.
yeah,
I think they were on their kind of downside. I compare them to like probably a worse version of the Bears. The
yeah,
Bears are probably a little bit better, but a team that kind of comes out of nowhere. New quarterback with them, new offensive or no new coach with the Bears, but a team that kind of took everyone by surprise to begin with. And Danny Dimes looked like an MVP candidate. Through what week 7, week
yeah.
8, and now the Colts season is probably pretty much done. Anthony Richardson Senior, not Junior, Senior. I don't think is going to be able to take
Or
them to the playoffs.
or rookie Riley Leonard, but it's just
Oh, Riley Leonard.
Riley Leonard is they drafted him out of Notre Dame last year, but it's just
Name a
it's
quarterback that came out of Notre Dame named Joe Montana and
exactly
Brady Quinn.
Riley
And
Leonard.
Brady Quinn went Riley Leonard.
He's the next one.
Cool two first names, buddy.
Cool two first names, but yeah, like that Colts team, I feel so bad for them because like they started to come down to earth and kind of deteriorate when they pushed all their chips into the middle. You make the Sauce Gardner trade, and then he gets toasted his first week, second week, calf, and then it comes that Daniel Jones has a fractured fibia, and then 3 weeks later, pops Achilles, and it's like
Yeah.
it just I've like for a team that they were really did I think they were serious Super Bowl contenders? I mean, in a year like this, maybe, but with him going out, and it's not like their schedule gets any easier. I'm looking it up right now. Like next week they are facing they're in Seattle, and it's
In
like,
Seattle, that's gonna be a tough matchup too.
huh?
That's gonna be a tough matchup too.
Yeah, and the fact that it's either going to be Anthony Richardson or Riley Leonard, like I would love to know what the spread is early, because I assume it will
Yeah.
just grow and grow and grow.
So we're talking about how, it's kind of anyone's game,
Hmm.
to this year. There's not really a clear Super Bowl favorite.
Yeah.
Do you think that continues into the playoffs, or do you think, we're gonna see the same old, like, okay, like Bills, Eagles, they're gonna correct themselves in the playoffs, they're gonna get it right, and they're gonna, due to their experience in their playoff runs, we'll just see two of the teams that we thought at the beginning of the season would make it? Or do you think we will see, Texans or Jags, or, insert your fucking
Random Super Bowl,
Cinderella?
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
I think for every team at the top, they all have glaring issues, and I don't think any of their issues are one fix away from it domino affecting everything else that's wrong with the team. Like example, if the Eagles offense starts to get rolling, but you have the Jalen Carter shoulders injury, and that's massive for them, not just tonight, but going forward. And then you know what? Because we can do this, let's go through the standings and just like example, and we're only going to do like your uh 8 to 9 win team. So that eliminates like my Steelers, because once again they have a plethora of holes. Like example, Denver, their issue is Bo Nix, and Bo Nix, like, he has a lot of really good stretches, but then he's perfect at being mid. The Patriots, they're playing well. I think they're another year away of getting, like example, they're not explosive enough on offense. They still have a young quarterback. The Jags, they're another any given Sunday team where their defense has been improved this year, but Trevor Lawrence could easily just, you can close your eyes and you can see Trevor Lawrence throwing 3 picks and a half. Now, granted, he came back from it against the Chargers, a couple years ago, but it's hard to replicate that. The Chargers missing both offensive linemen, or missing both starting tackles. The Bills, their defense is like outside of Josh Allen and James Cook and Deion Dawkins, their roster is just a bunch of good, not great. The Texans are super scary because their defense, but their offense blows. Then if you go to the NFC, it's like, okay, the Rams are the most clean cut, but I'm not in love with their DBs. The Packers, Jordan Love could come up and down. The Eagles, their offense is in a rut. Seattle, it's the Sam Darnold effect, where he could be good the entire rest, huh?
Yeah, he ain't gonna win a playoff game.
Right, and then to round out the last two 9-win teams, the Niners, they are your insert Detroit of last year, where I don't know how they're doing it, but they got like 70
Yeah.
people on IR, and then it's the Bears, which it is the first year turbulence.
Yeah, so I'm all, I'm just curious to see, because there's so many teams that haven't played in a big game in recent history,
Yeah.
that if you know we do get to the playoffs, and we do have, say the Ravens are able to get in, the Bills, say, the Eagles are able to maintain and
Hmm.
get in, like, are we going to see the experience come into play, or is this the year that we get the fucking Jags and Panthers, or
Yeah.
fucking
Insert
whoever the fuck. Yeah,
insert
insert
random super.
whoever.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this will be the year of, oh my God, I can't believe they won, or oh my God, I can't believe we're watching this Super Bowl.
Another thing that's really interesting, that can come into the fold, and when I say this, it's gonna be like, well, no shit. Um, these young teams, they don't know what they don't know. They don't know
Yeah,
how it's gonna feel. They don't know the week of prep. It's playoff games. The atmosphere, the speed is completely different, and them not. I feel like young teams, even when they don't have experience, that can be a good thing because
yeah.
going in, you don't know what to expect. You just go out there and you try and execute and play your game.
Yeah. And, sometimes if you don't know, you can play looser, but sometimes, it will also, you could be a little nervous and a little scared, but
A little
usually
tight,
after
yeah.
a play or two, you shake that off. But, from a dominant playoff performer like myself, if I could give anybody, some suggestions or,
Hmm.
for the playoffs is just relax. RELAX, just relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
It's it's gonna. Like we got what, 3 more games, 4 more games, and then we're in the playoffs.
Or more.
It's crazy because if you close your eyes, all I can remember is the first game where Jalen Carter spat at Dak, and it's like that's how the season fucking
Yep.
started.
And
Um,
hey, that
yeah,
big loogie is all over the NFL right now because there's no fucking favorites. So everyone's getting,
everyone's getting spat
everyone's just
on.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. To go to something really interesting, and you may or may not care about this college
I don't care.
football playoff, but I'm
Uh,
fucking tired of people boo-hooing for Texas and Notre Dame taking their ball and going home. We're gonna, as a team, we're going to withdraw our name from the bowl games. Are y'all serious? If they would have won week 1 against Miami, no harm, no foul. But they didn't. They lost.
they did lose.
They did.
Um, it, it's so it's funny because we just expanded the playoffs to 12 teams.
It's gonna go to
Um, was last
16, but
was last year 8 or was it 4?
last year was, I think it was 8. I don't
8.
know. I don't
I think
remember
they
if it
only
was.
did a year of 8.
I'm
But
I, I'm
if they would
checking.
have kept it at if they would have kept it at 4 this year, they would have had their four teams. They would have easily had just their 4 teams, and it would have been fine, and
Well,
no one would have been bitching.
last year was 12 as well,
And
so yeah, it was 12.
yeah, so and you said they're gonna possibly bump it up to 16.
Yeah.
What what do the fucking regular season rankings matter? Like, James Madison and Tulane are in the playoff, but were they in the top 12 at all? Like at all?
Well, the reason why the NCAA is including, your these two non, power 4, power 5 conference winners is essentially so they don't get sued. So you have, we got to include the little guys.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason why they're booing is because Tulane and James Madison are taking 2 playoff spots. Which example,
Well,
Oregon's gonna beat the shit out of James Madison, and then Ole Miss will beat the shit out of Tulane. And that's the only reason as to
and
why people are complaining about, oh, well, Notre Dame this and Texas that. I don't give a rip. I don't.
so apparently the Big Ten wants to expand it to 24 teams so they can get more people in for more money. And I'm like, dude, this is
Ah,
Um, you have your 5 at-large bids, the conference winners,
yeah.
and then you sprinkle some other like. How is Vanderbilt not in it? Like it's and Bama gets in because they're the brand of Alabama, right? Like they're gonna be bringing money in. It's it's just kind of like as how many people bitched about the old system where you just basically voted like
You're
not
just voted
necessarily number
in.
one, number two
Yeah.
in the national championship, but like that was people bitch about that. Now people are bitching about the playoffs. Like it's it's weird because not like every year whatever you do, whether it's playoff or like committee or whatever the fuck, people aren't going to be happy with it. Like the system is completely flawed. Like even like so people are bitching that Tulane and James Madison are in. Yeah, they watch the March Madness where 68 teams get in and like five have a chance to win. Or
Yeah,
not five, but like
you
10, right?
yeah,
Like,
your
you know, your
handful.
16 seeds aren't going to win it all. Your
Hmm.
15 seeds aren't going to win it all. Your 14, so on and so forth. They may make a little bit of a run, but their magic
Hmm.
is going to stop at midnight, right? So, you have something like that where everyone loves and they don't really bitch about, oh, I didn't get in the NCAA tournament, blah, 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 blah. But the college football, they try to make this thing. They're expanding it almost yearly now, and it shouldn't be. I don't understand what the fucking regular season rankings have to do with anything. If to fix this, all you would need to do is after week 5 or something, come up with your top 12, not have a top 25, have your top 12, and those are your playoff teams as of that day. And then you just interchange them with the records. What happens? You switch them in out just like fucking the top 25. Answer that question. Why do we have a top 25 in football if that means nothing?
The to answer your question, your top 25 is to have discussions like this. But
Yeah, it's
this
for us. It's for fucking ESPN. It's fucking for
yeah,
whoever to bitch about whatever ranking they are. It's stupid,
the thing
and
of
all
oh,
it
continue.
is fucking propaganda to fucking talk about.
Yeah, and the thing too is the reason why there is so much room for discussion is, excuse me, there is no clean cut way to make the playoff. So it's,
Hmm.
do you want more transparency or less transparency from this committee? Because for the majority of this down the stretch period, like these last 3 weeks, it was Notre Dame, Miami. If they're fucking if they are neck and neck, how much is the committee going to value your head to head matchup? Because for all the other sports, when records are tied, what's the first tiebreaker we go to? Did they play head to head? And if
Yeah.
Notre Dame would have got in and Miami wouldn't, it would have been one of the more disservicing things I've ever seen in the playoff. Like there's been some, I wouldn't, like, example, when what was it, UCF went undefeated and they didn't even make the playoff, and it's like, well, you know it's,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's, do you want to know how the hot dog is made? Do you really want to peek behind the curtain because you might not like it? Do you want to peek behind the curtain and see what the committee is doing because
Right.
you might not like? And with everybody in the committee, like, let's use Notre Dame for an example. You lose to Miami, and then you beat the shit out of a handful of you beat the shit out of, I think, 7 out of their however many wins they were going against defenses that were ranked in the outside, like 100th or lower. Out of there's 136 teams in Division 1. They were literally ranked below 100th on the defensive side of the ball. They lost to Miami week 1, and then I think Oklahoma week 2, and then they beat the shit out of everybody else. I don't want to hear boo-hooing for Notre Dame. They're in a sweet spot. They are an independent. They can, all they can do is win, bring in money. They don't have to share it with any they don't have to share it with any conference TV deals, XYZ, all that jazz. They can just basically rake it in. So no, I don't want to hear boo-hooing for Notre Dame because they lost week 1 and it
And
came back to bite them in the ass.
and for Notre Dame, if any team is going to get fucked on a yearly basis, it should be them because they want to, play we're better than everyone and not join a goddamn conference. Then that's your punishment. If there's a team that's tied with you or a team that, you lost to week 1, you should not get in over that team. You
Agreed.
don't want to declare a conference. You don't want to join something. You want to be holier than thou and being able to make your own goddamn schedule and do whatever the hell you want, then go fuck yourself. You're not going to get in the playoffs, or at least you're going to have to earn it. And this is going to be a super hot take,
It was
but
Texas A&M who they
why
lost
isn't
to.
why isn't Duke in it? Duke won the ACC. They're 7-5. They got 5 losses, but they won their conference. Why aren't they in it? I say put them in it. I put it like, you want to put Tulane and James Madison and whoever,
Yeah, just put your
what?
conference winners.
Yeah, You like it's it was made for conference winners and then your at-large bids or whatever.
Right.
Again, people are going to be like, "Oh, Duke doesn't deserve to be in it." Yeah, they don't, but they won their conference championship. So,
Hmm.
throw them in there, and who knows? They could be the Cinderella. But if you're going to win the conference, you deserve a chance at the playoff. Like that's what it was designed for, right?
Yeah, and then whenever they as in like example, a lot of Notre Dame fans too, and for the teams that were just on the cusp, they're like, oh well, how come Alabama gets in and they had 3 losses? Well, they got beat by Georgia in a game that you guys didn't play that extra game to have the chance to lose. Like they lost by 2 to Oklahoma, and they lost to who's the other team they lost? Then they lost week 1 to FSU. But once again, they have a quality win going to Athens and beating Georgia. That is the best win. You can combine all the ass kickings Notre Dame gave to these teeny weeny schools. That at Georgia win might be one of the best wins all year long.
Right. And if so, the other way that this college playoff is flawed is, imagine like a MAC school, we'll say like Miami of Ohio.
Yeah,
What if they play Ohio State week 1? They beat them, they upset them. It's an Appalachian State, Michigan, thing.
yeah,
They beat Ohio State and run the table. Miami of Ohio still probably isn't going into the playoff.
right. Which is scuffed. It makes no
Right.
sense.
And it's with these MAC teams or smaller schools, like you can schedule, your powerhouse at the beginning to get yourself some money, go get your money or go get your bag, fam. We
Hmm.
respect it, get kicked out of your own stadium by 63 points against, Texas or whoever.
Right.
But, that upset, it's a quality win, but then your level of competition after that drops tremendously. You're being punished because you happen to be in that conference. You have no chance. We're playing two different games here. We're playing one for the big boys and one for the little brothers. Oh, you can play with this toy that I don't play with anymore.
Yeah.
You get your hand-me-downs and you get, kind of shit on. And so I think they have to, if they're going to add, especially if they're going to go up to 16 teams, they have to go with conference championship champions automatic bids. Of course, the Big Ten and the SEC
They're
are
gonna
the
get more
biggest
bids,
two.
right?
Yes, they're going to get more bids. They're the biggest two conferences in the country, but it shouldn't be expanded to let more of the same conference teams in.
You know what I think they should do? I think they should put either push the schedule up a week or back a week, and then have like that last like for championship weekend, like how we just had. Let's have a playoff weekend where
Yeah,
or like a play in per se. So like example for 2 year, like let's say Texas Notre Dame, you guys are on the bubble, play winner gets in.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
like that is almost as smooth of that is almost as clean as a way to fix it. Now with Notre Dame taking their ball and going home and withdrawing from bowl games, which is fucking insane. The thing that the, it this could be the beginning of the end for all bowl games in general, because
yeah.
when you have
What
a
do you,
go
oh,
ahead.
real quick,
Yeah.
what do Notre Dame bowl games and Manti Te'o's girlfriend have in common? They're non-existent. Bam, go.
Go. That's that was fucking wild. But with like I could like I obviously I don't want to see bowl games like go away, but if a team is gonna pout and boohoo and moan and then be like put out a statement saying us as a team we have decided to, I'm like, dude, if you're a senior and you have no chance of making it in the NFL and they just basically knock on your door, and, hey guys, we have withdrawn from bowl games, bye. It's like, well, fuck
Nope.
me.
We need
Well,
your helmet and equipment ASAP.
right, and it's like, oh, I thought we were gonna play a ball game, and I was gonna at least, maybe some scout will come and see me and draft me in the 6th round, but nope. that extra game of tape it might mean nothing, but it might be a smaller bowl game, but it's still something. And it's kind of like that to me for your with your conference champions. Not saying it doesn't matter, because it does, but only about this much for the simple fact of, like, example, just like you said, Duke won the ACC, and the ACC was piss poor this year, and they don't get a bid.
Yeah. I mean, and it will probably never happen, but imagine if that was, happened on a year that the Big Ten wasn't that good, or every
Right.
team was kind of even, and they were, the conference winner had 3 or 4 losses. Are you still getting in? It's still the Big Ten. You get punished, and I hate this, and I've hated this for the entirety of my college football watching experience ever
Yeah.
since I was probably 10 years old and started playing the video game and started understanding rankings and whatever.
Mm,
If you schedule yourself a tough schedule, you get punished. Like, if I always thought that, because I used to hate, and I'm here in Michigan, where I'm a Michigan State fan, and Michigan fans are some of the most arrogant people you'll ever fucking meet, because they have the most wins in college football history, even though most of their wins were before black people were allowed to play the game, and they were playing against fucking high schools and shit. Um, anyway, or athletic clubs in like the 1800s.
yeah.
Anyway, they thrive on the past and all this shit. But I forgot where my point was even going, because I got ramble with this Michigan shit. Um, so oh, okay, no, so the month of September, and early August or late August, early September, Michigan would play these, Appalachian State. They would murder these fucking teams at, D2 school, whoever, name your MAC team.
Eastern Michigan,
And
Kent, Maryland.
right. So I'm like, from when I was a kid, I was like, okay, why don't they have a system where you rotate who you're playing in your off conference schedule?
Hmm.
And, you know, this year you're playing 3 SEC teams. Next year you play 3 Big 12 teams. The year after you play 3 ACC teams. And you rotate each conference playing different people
Yeah.
that are still quality. And like, it could be almost like the NFL, where, if you finish first, if you're the champion of the NFC North, you're going to face the other, first place teams in other divisions.
Yeah, like you get a
And,
first place
for the next,
schedule.
yes. Why can't they do that in college? I mean, it's already NFL light. Now
Well,
with
I was gonna say there's 136 teams, so it's really gonna be hard to. I mean, it's a good idea. It'd be interesting to see how it's really executed, because okay, well, what is a first place schedule? You play like your top three for that conference, and it just gets
yeah,
mixed around.
yeah. You play if you're at the top of the Big Ten, say the 4 top teams in the Big Ten, you play the 3 or 4 teams of the SEC. Like, and
Yeah.
you could still have one like cupcake game, because you kind of just for like almost like a preseason thing. Like, yeah, you can schedule, uh Appalachian State your first game, and
Hmm.
then next week you're playing Bama, and the week after that you're playing Vanderbilt, and the week after that you're playing Ole Miss. Okay, that's your out
There's your
non-conference
SEC
schedule,
games. Yeah.
and then you start the Big Ten. And
Hmm.
then, not only will the non-conference schedule games be accumulated into the formula if you get into the playoffs, but your Big Ten or your conference schedule will mean that much more as well. Like, you'll
Hmm.
be able to configure or look at the teams in a realistic comparison to see how good they are, versus, all right, I am going, like, when the Big Ten used to have divisions, Iowa would win I think they were in the Big Ten West. There was nobody in there. Like they would win it with they would have like 2 or 3 losses every year, and then they would get crushed by either Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, whoever came out of the other conference.
Yeah.
It was basically Iowa and Wisconsin in the other one.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, some of these teams, they can influx wins with terrible non-conference schedules,
Mhm.
and then they don't get penalized, but they get rewarded because, oh, they're a 10-2 team or they're 11-1 team, and you haven't really played anyone minus, maybe 2 or 3 teams that are in your conference that are worth a shit.
Kind of how like with Texas losing week 1 at Ohio State. It's like, "Oh, well that's a loss." But
Yeah.
they,
But
but they scheduled the game.
yes,
So,
and it's a worthy opponent. Like, you
right.
shouldn't be penalized if you lose against the number one team in the country by 4.
Right.
That should carry some weight versus you going to beat, fucking
FIU.
Eastern Michigan by 55.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any fucking sense, dude.
It would be interesting to talk to somebody at the community to be like, okay, well, what are your qualifications? Do you go off eye test, record, whatever the case may be? Like, how much does your strength of schedule? Like, yes, there's your quality wins to kind of put your, oh, Texas has some nice wins, but it took overtime for them to beat like Kent State or insert whatever boo boo
Yeah.
school this year. Like, if you're a good team, do they get knocked for playing close games against bad teams? And not saying vice versa, but like,
Right.
do you get a knock if you win, but if you win against a bad team, but you walked them off as a walk off field goal? You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
And I think it's fixable, and especially if you're gonna add more teams into the playoffs, like schedule some good games then, man. Like if you have a bigger opportunity and like to get into the playoff, who cares if you're 8-4 and your 4 losses are against top 25 teams, right?
yeah.
You have that stupid ranking system during the regular season for a reason. I don't know the reason, but for some reason you rank 25 teams so that we can talk about it and argue on who should be number 10 and who should be number 25. But
Yeah.
if you're going to have something like that, then make it worth a while and have some of these teams fucking play each other more often and stop with the cupcake schedules at the beginning. And then if you would like, the only problem with that is that teams from the MAC or like a team like Tulane or something may not be able to play, some big schools and get their rep up. But like, that's when you kind of you figure something out, like an alternative, like say if like how Boise State used to be really, really good,
Hmm.
right? With LeGarrette Blunt when he punched or he was on the Oregon, right? And he punched the dude
Yeah.
on Boise, or was it the other way around? Anyway, Boise was really good that year, or the year before maybe. But if you say you're pretty dominant for like 2 or 3 years, then you get in the mix. Then you're able, like there should be some kind of threshold to be like, okay, well this team has been dominating this conference or their opponents for the last 3 years. Let's give them Texas. Let's give them this school. Let's give them that school and see, where they measure up at the beginning of the season. And you kind of earn your way to play these bigger schools.
Yeah, and like,
Unless that's a really good idea, I'm not really sure. I just came up with it on the fly, and let's go with it.
yeah, to go back to your point, it's like, Utah was 10-2, so was Vandy and BYU, but BYU doesn't make it because they lost to Texas Tech in their conference championship game. Like,
Right. Right. You should that conference championship game should not matter to the loser. That should not be that shouldn't like if that's the deciding factor, like, oh, you lost in your conference championship game, but you're gonna put Bama in that didn't play for the conference championship,
well,
or
Bama
did they?
did.
I'm not sure, but
They
okay.
got.
Well,
I
we
was
got
gonna say.
3 loss.
I was gonna say they got beat the fuck up by Georgia, but once again, there's nothing bad about getting whomped by 21 to Georgia. You beat them
Right.
in Athens, earlier in the year, and they got their lick back. And like just from a eye perspective, an eye test, Indiana, Ohio State, and Georgia, those are your three best teams. And then
Right.
to me at least.
Well, so if you go, if Vandy, say Vanderbilt would have gotten that championship game,
Mm,
and say they were 11-1 or 10-1, and then they lose and get 10-2, like you're gonna punish them for getting a second loss? Like that doesn't make any sense to me. Like,
I agree with you,
the conference
that's why
the conference
oh, go,
advance the champion,
yeah.
and the loser should not be penalized at all.
Mm, that was when I was talking about bowl games getting removed. It's like these conference championship games, they essentially don't really matter. Like they do, but they don't, because for a lot of the teams that are making the playoff, they're not playing in their conference championship game, so their record, it is what it is. They're not playing that extra game to get that extra
Mhm.
loss or extra win. They're just not.
Exactly. So do you know how many bowl games there are?
No, but I bet Google does.
Google that shit real quick, or
They got it.
ask, ask Grok or something.
At Grok, how many CFB bowl games are there? 40 to 42 typically.
Okay, I was gonna say that's a little too much because
I was gonna
I
say
knew there was
because
I knew there was a good amount,
I was gonna
but
say
what you
because
could
you're.
do,
Oh, continue.
I was gonna say what you could do is actually it still would work, I think, because I'm only thinking about the first round. What you should do
Hmm.
is you should up the amount of teams to the playoff for as many bowl games as there are. Or, if say if you said there's 40 some
There's 40 to
bowl
40.
games.
According to once again Google, there's 40 to 42, and I just kind of did the quick math. There are 6 bowl games in the playoff. There is your Orange Bowl, your Rose Bowl, your Sugar Bowl, your Cotton Bowl, and then there's the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl. Those are your semifinal games.
So what they should do is, because the bowl games essentially just bring in money because of sponsorship, right?
Right.
Every playoff game should be a bowl game. And you should have as many teams in there to fulfill every bowl. So, if there's 12 teams, there's right now there's what, four get a bye, so 4 games the first round,
Mm-hmm.
4 games the second round, that's 8, 2 and 1.
So that'd be
So
11.
11 games total or so.
Mm-hmm.
Um so up it to fucking 24 teams and do the same fucking thing. And just every single game is a bowl. And then one, don't go much past 24 teams. Or, if, let me see, it's 24, so it goes 24, 12, 6, 3, that doesn't make sense. 32 teams, maybe, 6, because 32 would go down to 16, the 8 to 4 to 2. Get 32 teams, your top 25 plus fucking hey, that will make your top 25 actually relevant. You go up to 32 teams, you get your top 25, you add 7 more bids, you get to 32, you assign a bowl game to every single round, every single game. You get your bowl games, you get your money, you get your teams, you get your top 25 makes sense, and I just fixed college football.
That's interesting. Because once
Does
again,
it work? You have a month plus to get these games. Like, the season's over. You could start next week with the playoffs. It's not like you need this big gap. There used to be a gap. Like, I mean, I don't know if it's still like this, but there would be like a 2-3 week gap between the end of the season and the start of the bowl season. Like, what are you
right.
doing? Kids don't. Hey, if you think these kids are studying for finals, that's what the fuck are you thinking about? We're not here to play school. We're here to play football.
We're not here to play school. It's crazy. No, though, but I mean, if they wanna, that'd be really interesting. I think 32 is too. Obviously, I want more football. I think that would be more playoff football. I feel like 16 is like a sweet spot because you can have like your planes and stuff
Why?
like that. But once again, to make your top 25, mean something,
Relevant.
right?
Yes.
As a
And and
yeah,
you have I know 32 teams is a lot, but you said there's 136 teams.
yeah,
Like this will allow a team like Eastern Michigan, who probably won a national championship in like 1940, you know to
mm-hmm.
have another chance. Like even though it's a long shot, but Cinderella might live till past midnight. Who knows? Or midnight might not strike until the national championship game. But people love football.
Mm-hmm.
People love college football.
Yeah,
You know, this eliminates, any kind of snubbery. It allows the top 25 to mean something. And you have, 16 first round games. That's 16 plus 8 for the second round. Third round would be 4. So that's 28. 2. So that's 30. 31 games. 31 games. You said they have 40 something bowls. You eliminate 13 bowls or something, or you give it to fucking teams that just want to play another game,
yeah.
but you eliminate all that. And then now you're able to um, you know, not only fulfill your bowls and getting the money for that, you add more teams, you get more eyes on your product because more schools are involved and more fan bases. And then you find out the ultimate winner because we all know that maybe not every given Saturday, but there is a thing called any given Sunday. We
Well,
if we go dancing in March, we can have an everyday or any given Saturday.
I was gonna say my only thing too, like if you were to go ooga booga and extend it to 32, like what would be what would the calendar year be? Because obviously they don't want to compete with the NFL playoffs. Would you just start a month earlier?
I would just start next week, like this upcoming week. I mean, last week was the last.
So
Why do
so you
why
would
do
have playoff games on what, Friday and Saturday?
Yeah, or just Saturday. You can fit 16 games in a Saturday. I mean, there's a fucking 50 games going on a Saturday, a regular Saturday. You know what I mean? Like, and then the
Yeah,
higher
that's
seeds
true.
host
Yeah.
until you get to your bigger bowls. It's not that hard. Like what? Like I just don't understand why there's like a 3 week gap in between the last, right? Conference championships and then and you know eliminate a week if you needed to. Eliminate. You don't even need a conference championship week. Like fuck it. Just get best record like it used to be.
Like it used to be back in the good old days.
Um, I don't know. But anyway,
Uh,
thank you for joining us here on this manic Monday, magical Monday. What did we say at the beginning of the show? I don't know.
Victory
I've been
Monday.
all over the place. Victory Monday,
Victory Monday.
quarterback Monday. Anyway, thank you for joining us here on this Monday, December 8th. Um, Here at the Legends Clubhouse, we are usually live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time here on the New Leaf News YouTube channel. So go hit that subscribe button, give us a comment. Hey, join our chat if you want. Sometimes, hey, maybe we'll talk to you. Maybe we will just ignore you if you say some stupid shit. But check us out over on our social media at New Leaf News. We are on Blue Sky X, Instagram, TikTok, and
Facebook.
Facebook. Facebook. So go check us out over on those 5 different platforms if you have social media, which most of you do. Give us a follow. We'd appreciate it. You can go check myself out at Bobby Kaboose on Instagram, on X. That is at Lawson _1226. Hey, man,
Hey, man.
it's getting closer. I
Getting
don't see your birthday hat on yet,
getting real
but
close.
get himself a birthday gift. I know you're going to be spending a lot of money on Christmas on people who matter, but hey, Lawson's lives matter too. So, he would appreciate a Christmas gift. Um, this is episode what, 99?
99.
Hey, Wednesday we're going to be on triple dig. So,
Crazy.
best number 99 of all time?
JJ Watt.
Hey, I'm going to go with a hockey player, and it's not Wayne Gretzky. It's Adam Banks, the cake eater.
Nice.
He is the greatest number. Hey, he is the greatest number 99 because you know what? Because in the first Mighty Ducks,
Yeah.
he watches himself score from the bench. It's now an infamous clip on social media.
Which is insane.
Uh, which yeah, I mean, how can you be in two places at once unless you're the great Adam Banks? Two, he is so good that after he dominates Pee Wee hockey in the first one, in the second one when he takes it to the junior Goodwill games or whatever, he's shooting. I believe he goes from left-handed to right-handed. So not only is
Bro's
he a
just a
switch
beast.
hitter, he's a fucking beast, man. I'm surprised he didn't eclipse Ovechkin yet. So anyway, best 99. That is it. I'm done rambling. If you want to take us out, I think I covered everything. I cover
Awesome.
everything.
I think so, yeah. So for New Leaf News and the Legends Clubhouse, I'm Lawson Turner, and that right there
Ooh.
is Bobby Kaboose. We will see you beautiful people Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, we hope you enjoy your Monday and Tuesday, and we will be back Wednesday. Until next time, peace.